So you say it's time to put the Christmas tree up, and you hate these things? They are so wonky. The tree's always falling over. You can't ever figure out how to get these to tighten up and get into the tree right. And I just, come with me and I'll show you how to make something a little bit sturdier. Hello, this is Paul. Welcome to Loose Boot Woodworking. Hey guys, today we're going to be building a Christmas tree stand out of 2x4s. It's a bit on the big side, but I think it's going to be good and sturdy to hold the tree well. And it'll be covered by the tree skirt, so no big deal. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 2x4 and I'm going to cut lengths at 23.5 inches. So I'll cut 4 boards at 23.5 inches. Next, first I'm going to cut the end off of this thing. Next, I'm going to cut 4 boards at 14 inches. And these are going to make the cross members for the tree stand. So 4 boards at 14 inches. Okay, now that we have our boards cut, we'll go ahead and head over to the assembly table and start putting it together. The first step in assembly is going to be to countersink and pre-drill for the screws that we're going to attach these 23.5 inch boards to each other, and we just have to put pre-drill 2 holes into one end of each of these boards. Next, we'll take 2.5 inch deck screws and we'll start to assemble the bottom part of this Christmas tree stand, attaching these 4 23.5 inch boards. Okay, now that the bottom portion of the stand is created, we will concentrate on the top part of the stand. Now this is going to be what holds the trunk of the tree. So we'll take 2 of the 14 inch boards and we'll overlap them in such a way that they are the full length of the square we just put together. So it's a total of 25 inches outside to outside of the square. We need to make sure that the ends of our boards meet that outside, and then in the overlap, that's what's going to create the hole for the trunk. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark with a pencil the lines where it's going to help us to know where to put the countersink and the pre-drill for this assembly. All right, now that we have our holes pre-drilled and countersunk, I've also put screws into each one of those holes, so it's making the assembly that much quicker. We use the lines that we drew earlier to line up where the boards need to connect, and we just assemble this top part of the stand and get it ready to assemble with the bottom part. So it's about now that I realized I should have cut the 45s before I assembled. So now I got to find a creative way to cut the 45s on these in order for the screws to be able to reach the bottom assembly. So at this point, I think I've reached a whole new level of sketchy. This was a janky cut if I ever had one, but it seemed to work out okay. Now that we have those cut, we can see what it's going to look like before we attach the the top assembly to the bottom assembly. Here. Next thing to do is countersink the screws and put those in, attaching the top assembly to the bottom assembly. I'll go ahead and knock off the rough edges with the sander real quick so I don't get splinters in my fingers when I'm handling this, putting it on the tree. Next, we'll head outside and knock the bottom branches off in order to get the trunk of the tree fitted into the stand. Trunk measures about 3.5 inches here, and I believe the opening of the stand we said was 4 inches, so we're good to go. Using the Sawzall, we'll make a fresh cut on the end. Looks like one detail that I missed is that I did pre-drill and started these lag bolts. We have 2 lag bolts per side, so 4 sides should be able to really cinch up that trunk well and get it to hold in place. Well, the tree looks great and the stand is making it stand up straight. I couldn't be happier. Guys, again, this is Paul with Loose Boot Woodworking. Thanks for joining us today. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.